So Bellator 256, Bader versus Machida 2. Obviously the main event, Ryan Bader, Leota Machida, Liz Carmouche, Jeremy Kennedy, Adam Borix, Kaizengano, Yodi Yamauchi, Dalton Rosa, Talita Noguera, Jordanelle Lugo, Cody Law, Jalen Bates. A lot of really good fighters on the fight card. But today we're doing a full card prediction for this Bellator 286 fight card. And in the first fight of the night, I think this one's going to be a pretty big domination. We have John Duma and Will Smith. Will Smith doesn't really surprise. He doesn't really have any part of his game that really sticks out to me. He's not really a really good striker. He's not really a really good grappler, a really good wrestler. None of those type of things. He's just pretty average at everything. He's a pretty average striker, a pretty average wrestler, a pretty average grappler. He's not really good at one facet of the game. John Duma is really good at pretty much everything. Has really good wrestling. Has really good grappling skills. 2 submission wins and 2 KO TKO wins on his record so far. Coming up, he lost to Jordanelle Lugo, who's also on this fight card right here. And Jordan Lugo is fighting Casabell on this fight card, but in this fight with John Duma and Will Smith, the main way he's gonna win the fight is to use that reach advantage. He does have a reach of 72.5 inches. He is a little bit taller of a fighter. I'm at 5'8" inches tall, but overall, Will Smith, the main way he's gonna win the fight is to keep the fight on the feet, make it a more technical striking fight. Try to keep range, land a lot of jabs, go in for a right hand every now and then. That's the main way he's gonna win the fight in the fight, mainly by unanimous decision. He doesn't have knockout power. He doesn't really have very good submissions. Doesn't really have very good wrestling, anything like that. John Duma, if he gets on top of Will Smith, most likely he's gonna submit him or TKO him in the first or second round. A lot of people are saying that he's going to get the KO TKO. A lot of people are saying he's going to get the submission. And then a lot of people are saying the fight is going to go all the way. I don't think this fight's going to go all the way. John Duma, every single one of his wins is being a finish. First round submission, second round TKO, first round knockout, and first round submission win. Every single one of his wins being my finish in the first or second round. Will Smith does not have that finishing ability. Doesn't really have very good striking, grappling, or wrestling, anything like that. So I think John Duma is going to get a takedown in the second round. Get him down, land a lot of good ground and pound shots. So Will Smith is kind of a rookie fighter in his MMA career. Is going to give up his back. I think John Duma is going to get that rear naked submission in the second round of the fight. I just don't really see much of any ways that Will Smith can win this fight in the fight. So I think John Duma is going to get this submission in the second round or land a lot of good ground and pound shots and get the TKO in the first or second round. So it should be a very good performance there for John Duma in the fight. After that, I mean, this one's pretty simple. The odds for the fight are like minus 1,000 for this fight right here. Let's see if I can find it. Diana Askarkova minus 1,000, and then Telegraph plus 600. Diana Askarkova is an absolutely amazing grappler. Diana Askarkova and Telegraph is a flyweight fight. Telegraph 1 win and 2 losses. She's currently 34 years old, so she's gonna be a much older fighter. Diana Askarkova, 22.5 years old, has a height advantage, has a reach advantage, has a age advantage, has a grappling advantage. In my opinion, the striking is gonna be pretty even. Telegraph has some good power in her hands, but she has the good power against not the best competition, against a girl that has a record of 0 wins and 1 loss. Got a first round knockout there. Lost her next 2 fights by third round knockout and second round knockout. She just is not at all a good fighter, a very old fighter, not a good height, not a really good reach, just has a pretty good power in her hands. That's pretty much the only thing I really get to Telegraph in the fight. Diana Askarkova, very good kickboxing, really good wrestling, and really good grappling. If she gets you down, more likely than not, she's going to get a submission, or she's going to dominate you on the ground, get a lot of good ground and pound, go for a lot of submissions, and win the fight by 30-27, or possibly a 30-26 unanimous decision. A lot of people are saying, I'm 96% going for Askarkova to win the fight, mainly by decision, and then a lot of people have her win the fight by submission. I give it maybe a 45 to 50% chance we see a submission for Diana Askarkova in the fight, but I think this fight is going to go all the way. I think Diana Askarkova is going to win the fight by 30-26 unanimous decision. I think it's going to be an absolute domination here for Diana Askarkova in her first fight inside that Bellator right here. After that, we have Nainoa Dung and Izzy Williams. This is another close fight on the fight card. Izzy Williams, 4 wins and 3 losses, 33 years old, 5'8" inches tall, a welterweight fighter moving down to the lightweight division. He's a much smaller fighter, a much smaller reach than Nainoa Dung, who is 6'1" tall, much younger, and 22 years old. So there is the age advantage, there is the reach advantage, there is the height advantage, all those type of things. For Noah Dung in the fight, Izzy Williams has a lot of power in his hands. 4 wins and 3 losses. First round knockout, second round submission, and first round knockout. A lot of power in his hands. The main way he's going to go out there and win the fight is to go out there in the first round and get the knockout against Noah Dung in the fight. Noah Dung, the main way he's going to win the fight is kind of to go out there in the first round, play a little bit safe, try to get Izzy Williams to kind of overcommit on his shots and kind of play the counter-puncher role in the fight and try to win the fight by unanimous decision in the counter-puncher role against Izzy Williams in the fight. So it's either Izzy Williams is going to go out there and get a nice right hand and knock Noah Dung out in the fight, or Noah Dung is going to defend those big shots from Izzy Williams, play more of a counter-puncher fight. Dang it. Is going to play more of a counter-puncher fighter type of fight against Izzy Williams in the fight and win the fight by unanimous decision. He's a very, very young fighter, only 22 years old, has, I believe, 3 or 4 fights inside of Bellator right now. Third round knockout win right here, first round submission win, and a decision win, then lost 2 fights in a row to Charlie Campbell and Zach Zane. I think overall, if the fight goes all the way, Noah Dung is going to win the fight. If the fight goes in the first round, Izzy Williams is going to get that first round knockout. But overall, I think the more technical kickboxer is going to win the fight in Noah Dung. I think he's going to win the fight by 29 and 28 unanimous decision. The first round, I probably give it to Izzy Williams just because he's going to go out there. He's trying to land those big shots and try to knock out Noah Dung in the first and second round. But overall, the fight is going to go all the way. And Noah Dung is going to win the fight by 29 and 28 unanimous decision. After that, we have Jalen Bass and Jeffrey Glossner. Jeffrey Glossner has a lot of power in his hands. 2 wins and 1 loss. 24 and 1.5 years old. First knockout win and second round knockout win, both literally in 1 minute combined. Literally 50 seconds in both of those fights, being first round knockouts, or sorry, never mind, this one is a second round knockout. I thought I said first round knockout right there. But a second round knockout and a first round knockout win over Jason Tapaldos and Jose Avalos. 1 loss as a professional fighter to Anthony Jimenez. The main way Jeffrey Glossner is going to win the fight, just like we saw in the last fight against Izzy Williams and Noah Dung, is for Jeffrey Glossner to go out there and get the first or second round knockout. That is the main way he is going to win the fight. Jalen Bass, a little bit different, also has some pretty decent power in his hands. But the main way he's going to win the fight is to make the fight go all the way and win the fight in a technical striking fight. Maybe take the fight to the ground every now and then in the fight and win the fight by unanimous decision. So either way, I think it's going to go all the way, and Jalen Bass is going to win the fight by decision, or Jeffrey Glossner is going to go out there and get a first or second round knockout in the fight. But the main thing right here is Jeffrey Glossner may have the power advantage. Jalen Bass does have the striking advantage. He's the more technical striker. Has way better wrestling, way better grappling. So either way, even if Jeffrey Glossner is doing better on the feet, Jalen Bass will take the fight to the ground, land some good ground and get some control time, go for some submissions, and win the fight that way. So either way, I think Jalen Bass is going to win the fight. Not really sure if he's going to get the KO TKO, if he's going to get the submission, if he's going to get the knockout, or whatever the case may be. I just know that Jalen Bass is going to go out there, dominate the fight wherever the fight goes, defend those big whooping shots from Jeffrey Glossner in the fight, and overall win the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. After that, we have a domination fight. Cody Law and Nathan Garib. I mean, come on. You guys already know who I'm picking to win the fight. Cody Law is an absolute beast. 2 wins and 0 losses as an amateur. 5 wins and 0 losses. Second round submission. 2 decision wins and a first round knockout win as a professional fighter. Inside of Bellator. First round dark choke submission and a third round TKO win over Kenny Champion. Both fights right here, even his amateur career, every single one of these fights have been absolute domination. He is really good wrestling, fighting out of American Top Team, and he is fighting, and he's a really good wrestler, fighting out of Matt Factory Wrestling Club and American Top Team. He has really good striking, really good wrestling, really good ground and pound, really good cardio. I mean, wherever you look at this fight, he's really good wherever the fight goes. And then his opponent, 27 and 1.5 years old, Nathan Garib. He has very good power in his hands. So both wins as a professional fighter, coming by knockout in the first round, by 1 minute knockout and 54-second knockout in the first round. Absolutely insane. That's the main way he's going to win the fight. Go out there and get the first knockout. But Cody Law if he goes out there and gets the takedown in the first round, kind of tires out Nathan Garib in the first round, he's going to come out in the second round, get another takedown, get on top of Nathan Garib, land a lot of ground and pound shots, either get that TKO against Nathan Garib in the fight, or Nathan Garib, being a rookie fighter in his MMA career, is going to give up his back, and Cody Law is going to get that rear naked choke submission. So either way, I think Cody Law is going to get the finish in the fight and win the fight by first or second round TKO or rear naked choke submission in the fight. Either way, Cody Law is an absolute beast. I mean, come on. I'm not going with Nathan Garib to win the fight. Cody Law is an absolute beast. Wherever the fight goes, he's going to win the fight by unanimous decision, by first knockout, by first round TKO, by first submission, whatever the case may be. Cody Law is going to win that fight 100%. And then after that, we have Jornal Lugo, an amazing bantamweight striker, and then Cass Bell, a very good grappler in the bantamweight division. That pretty much sums up this fight right here. Cass Bell is looking to get the fight to the ground as soon as possible and get a submission in the first or second round. Jordan Luga is going to look to keep the fight on the feet and win the fight by unanimous decision or get a knockout in the first round in this fight. Cass Bell is 33, almost 34 years old, a little bit taller, and way less of a reach. 100% if this fight is on the feet, Jordan Luga is going to use that reach, is going to use that height, is going to use his power and his cardio to win the fight in the striking game by unanimous decision or by first round knockout. Cass Bell is going to look to go out there and get a takedown early in the fight, get the fight down, and go for submission. First round submission win, second round armbar submission win, second round TKO win, and a second round knockout win. He's going to go out there and try to get the submission or a TKO in the fight. It's not going to happen. Jordan Luga has way too good striking, way good takedown defense, really good submission defense. Even if Cass Bell can get him to the ground, he has really good scrambling abilities and can get the fight back up on the feet as soon as possible. So overall, I think either way, even if Cass Bell gets the fight down, he's going to get the fight back up on the feet and win the fight in the striking game. So overall, Jordan Lugo is going to win the fight in the striking game and win the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. Then after that, we have a grappler and a striker right here, Jessica Borja and Talita Nogueira. Talita Nogueira, the 12th best featherweight fighter in the world, 35 and a half years old, 5 foot 10 inches tall, and has a reach of 70 inches. So she may be the older fighter at 35 and a half years old, but she does have the height advantage. She is gonna have the reach advantage. She's gonna have the wrestling advantage, the grappling advantage, everything like that. But Jessica Borja has really good striking, 3 wins and 2 losses, a first and armbar submission win in her first fight inside of Bellator a couple of years ago. Before that, a first round TKO win and a first round knockout win right there. So it's basically a striker versus grappler fight. If you look at the top of your predictions, 88% going for Nogueira to win the fight, mainly by submission, and a lot of people have her winning the fight by unanimous decision. Every single one of those fights from Talita Nogueira being a KO, TKO, or a submission in the first or second round, and none of her fights have gone all the way. You see right here, 5 submission wins and 2 KO, TKO wins right there. So she looks to go out there and get you down to the ground, go for submission after submission after submission, and go for some ground and pound and win the fight that way. Jessica Borja is going to look to keep the one on the feet and win the fight by KO, TKO in the first or second round. Should be a very interesting fight in the featherweight division right here. But Talita Nogueira, you can never count her out. She's a very good grappler, really good wrestling, and even in the striking game, can keep the fight very even in the striking game. And when you have a fight like this, where it's pretty even in the striking game, and where if the fight goes to the ground, Talita Nogueira is gonna dominate the fight there. So the fight on the feet is very even, and the fight on the ground is 100% going to Talita Nogueira to win the fight. Very good grappling, very good wrestling. So overall, surprisingly, I had this fight going all the way. I think Talita Nogueira is going to dominate the fight on the ground. I think Jessica Borja is going to defend those submissions, defend the ground and pound TKO from Talita Nogueira in the fight. I think overall, the fight is going to go all the way. It's going to be an absolute domination from Talita Nogueira in this fight. I think she's going to get a takedown every single one of these rounds. Get the fight down, go for submission after submission after submission. Go for a lot of ground and pound shots, get a lot of control time in the fight, and win the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. After that, we have Dalton, Rosa, and Tony Johnson. This fight is honestly a really good fight. 37, almost 38 years old, and then 25 years old. The height advantage and the reach advantage going to Tony Johnson in the fight at 6 foot 2 inches tall and has a reach of 77 inches. Dalton Rosa, 4 wins and 0 losses as an amateur. 7 wins and 0 losses, beating Cody Brundage, who fought on Dana White's Industries against William Knight a couple of months ago. Won the fight by 3rd round knockout, 2nd round knockout, 1st round knockout, 2nd round knockout, 1st round knockout, 1st round knockout, 3rd round knockout. As a pro, 1st round knockout, knockout, second round knockout, first round knockout, unanimous decision. I mean, every single one of this man's fights, except for that last fight inside of Bellator against Ty Gorder, has literally not gone all the way. It's been ending in the first, second, or third round by KO or TKO. The man has a lot of power in his hands, has really, really good ground and pound. So honestly, he's gonna win the fight by KO TKO in the first or second round. Or if you look at Tony Johnson, also has a lot of power in his hands, 9 wins and 2 losses, 5 knockout and TKO wins, and 3 decision wins. No amateur fights. But he did join on Dana White's Contender Series in 2019. Got a decision win against Alton Cunningham in a fight. Literally 0 people thought he was gonna win the fight. He was a plus 400 underdog in the fight. So no one thought that he was gonna win the fight in that fight. But he did keep the fight on the feet and made it a really, really good striking fight in the fight and won the fight by unanimous decision. And then after that, got a third round knockout win against Joe Schilling. And in this fight, it's going to be a KO TKO win from Tony Johnson in the first or second round, or is going to be a KO or TKO win in the first or second round from Dalton Rosa. I mean, it's pretty much one of those things that are going to happen in the fight. 85% going for Rosa to win the fight, mainly by KO TKO. 15% going for Johnson to win the fight, mainly by KO TKO. So overall, this fight is going to go in the first and second round by KO TKO. And Dalton Rosa, being a much younger fighter, a much more powerful fighter, having the better wrestling, in my opinion, and having the much better grappling, and much better ground and pound. Wherever this fight goes, I think Dalton Rosa is going to win the fight, but who knows? Tony Johnson was a plus 400 underdog on Dana White's Contender Series and still won the fight. I'm not really sure what the betting odds are for this fight. If we can see where it is, I'm not really sure where it is. So minus 400 and then plus 300. So Dalton Rosa is a pretty big favorite to win that fight, but overall I'm 100% going with the younger, the much more powerful striker, the much better wrestler, the much better grappler, the much better ground and pound. Pretty much wherever you look at this fight, Dalton Rosa is the better fighter in every facet of the game. So I'm 100% going for Dalton Rosa to win the fight by first or second round KO or TKO in the fight. After that, we have 2 really good grapplers in Leota Yamauchi and Dan Moret. Grappler. Dan Moret has, I believe, 8 or 9 submissions on his record, I'm pretty sure. So 8 submission wins, 2 knockout wins, and 4 decision wins. Y'all are going to be really, really surprised right here. 25 wins and 4 losses, 28 years old. And guess how many of his wins are coming by submission? 20 submission wins, 4 decision wins, and 1 KO TKO win. Absolutely insane. That is just absolutely insane. First on submission win over Derek Cruikshank. First on armbar submission win. Decision win. Fought Michael Chandler, who is currently about to fight for the UFC lightweight belt. First on rear naked submission win over Adam Piccolotti. Third on submission. First on submission. First on knockout. First on submission. I mean, come on, man. This man is an amazing grappler. Pretty much every single one of his fights being a submission in the first or second round. Dan Moret, 14 wins and 6 losses, coming off of 3 straight losses inside the UFC against Gilbert Burns, Alex White, and Jared Gordon. And they got a second round knockout win in the fight. I think Dan Moret might have a little bit of a striking advantage, but Leota Yamauchi, the man's grappling is absolutely insane. I will not be surprised if like 100% of these tabloid predictions are going for Leota Yamauchi to win the fight. 95% going for Leota Yamauchi to win the fight. 72% saying he's going to win the fight by submission in the first or second round. That's exactly what I'm thinking. 100%. I have Leota Yamauchi going out there, going for takedown after takedown. And I think he's gonna get the back of Dan Moret and get a rear naked submission in the first or second round. 100%. I mean, 20 submissions as a professional fighter. That is absolutely insane. So 100%. I have Leota Yamauchi winning that fight by submission in the first or second round. After that, we have Kaizengano and Olivia Parker. Believe it or not, I mean, it's very surprising. Kaizengano being 38 and a half years old. Olivia Parker is actually older than Kaizengano is at 39 years old. Older than Kaizengano with 4 wins and 1 loss. A humongous underdog in the fight. A very tall fighter in this featherweight division at 5'10" tall. Not really sure what her reach is. But Kaizengano 5'6" tall and has a reach of 70 inches. So no real age advantage considering they're both 38 and 39 years old. If you look at Kaizengano, the 6th best featherweight fighter in the world. Decision win against Gabriel Holloway. Fought inside the UFC in 2018. Lost to Megan Anderson. Fought Marion Reneau. And guys, we have to look at this, guys. It's insane. I mean, against Marion Reneau, You guys already know, Marion Renaud inside the UFC, she goes out there and goes for takedown after takedown after takedown. Well, Kaizengano went out there and got 6 takedowns on Marion Renaud and won the fight by 30-26, 30-27, and 30-27 unanimous decision. I mean, Kaizengano has amazing wrestling skills, really good ground and pound, and really good submission skills on the ground. I mean, her wrestling skills are really good. 5 KO TKO wins, 3 submission wins, and 3 decision wins. Believe it or not, she actually ended up beating Amanda Nunes, Miesha Tate, Raquel Pennington, all these amazing fighters inside the UFC. I mean, she's absolutely insane. But if you're getting 6 takedowns against a girl like Marion Renaud, who her only game plan is to go for takedowns herself, I mean, her wrestling, her ground and pound, her submission skills are going to be way too much for Olivia Parker. We don't even really need to look at Olivia Parker being 4-1 as a professional fighter, has a lot of submissions on auto record. Every single one of her wins being a finish, except for this one fight back in 2019. I don't really even need to look at these fights from Olivia Parker, considering Kaizengano has amazing wrestling, and once she gets you down, she's gonna dominate you there, and she's gonna win the fight 100% in this fight by 30-27 or possibly by 30-26 unanimous decision. Come on, guys, come on. If you guys think that Olivia Parker's gonna win that one, you guys are absolutely insane. Kaizengano is gonna win the fight by 30-26 unanimous decision. This fight right here is a really good fight. Jeremy Kennedy and Adam Boree, 16 wins and 2 losses, and 16 wins and 1 loss, minus 120, and then minus 110, 27.5, and then 28.5 years old. So literally everything right here, the records, the betting odds, the age of both fighters are very even. The height is 5'11" inches tall for both fighters. The reach 71 inches and 70.5 inches. You don't really see anything that is right here that you can kind of give the advantage to either fighter in the fight. Jeremy Kennedy, amazing wrestling. Even look at his couple of fights that were inside the UFC. He is really good wrestling. If we can find it right here. Let's see right here. Let's see. So he had 11 wins and 1 loss at the time when he was inside the UFC. 5 takedowns in his first fight inside the UFC. 8 takedowns against Ronnie Jason. 8 takedowns against Kyle Bogniak. He literally, like, look right here. Inside of the UFC, his average takedowns per fight was 5.73 takedowns, landing at 52%, having a 66% takedown defense. I mean, the man is absolutely insane. He has really good wrestling. If he gets you down, he's probably going to keep you there, and he has such good wrestling. 8 takedowns, and 5 takedowns inside the UFC. That is absolutely insane. And you guys already know, Adam Boree, amazing striking. He has 2 flying knee KO wins over Aaron Pico and Teodor Nikolov. Absolutely insane. Most of his wins being finishes in the first or second round. 6 submission wins and 4 KO TKO wins and 5 decision wins. If you look at how he wins those submissions, second round submission win by triangle choke submission, triangle choke submission, triangle choke submission, rear naked and rear naked. So the main way he wins his fights by submission is when he's on the bottom and he kind of puts up a triangle choke submission, and that is the main way he wins his fights against really good wrestlers, and against a guy like Jeremy Kennedy, who is a very good wrestler, as we saw previously with those stats inside the UFC. The main way he can kind of defend those takedowns is to kind of use those submissions from the bottom in these triangle choke submission, in the guillotines. That is the main way he can kind of defend those takedowns from Jeremy Kennedy, because he has really good wrestling. And if he keeps the fight on the feet, if Adam Boree keeps the fight on the feet, he's most likely gonna win the fight by 29-28 unanimous decision, or get a KO TKO in the first or second round. But that is an if. If he keeps the fight on the feet, it is going to be a really tough thing for Adam Boree to do, to keep the fight on the feet when you got a guy like Jeremy Kennedy who goes for like 10 takedowns every single time he goes out there. I mean, his wrestling is absolutely insane. So I think Jeremy Kennedy is just going to pressure to Adam Boree, get him in the clinch, go for takedown after takedown after takedown after takedown after takedown after takedown, over and over again, eventually getting on top of Adam Boree and defending those submissions from the bottom from Adam Boree, landing some ground and pound, going for a couple submissions from the top, and winning the fight by unanimous decision. I think it's going to be a very good fight in the co-main event for Bellator 256, Bellator versus Machida 2. But Jeremy Kennedy's wrestling is just way too much for Adam Boree to handle. When I first saw the fight, Immediately, you kind of look at a guy like Adam Borges, who's an amazing striker. You immediately look at Adam Borges, and you're kind of like, all right, he has really good striking. Has some pretty good submission skills from the bottom. You're probably gonna go with Adam Borges, but looking at Jeremy Kennedy's wrestling skills, I mean, you can't deny those wrestling skills. So if he gets him down, which he most likely will, he's gonna dominate the fight on the ground, maybe get a TKO, but overall, I think the fight is gonna go all the way, and Jeremy Kennedy is gonna win the fight by 29-28, a unanimous decision. And then after that, Liz Carmouche and Vanessa Pardo. Again, believe it or not, just like this one fight with Kaizengano and Olivia Parker, Vanessa Pardo is pretty much the same exact age as Liz Carmouche is, with 22 wins and 8 losses. Absolutely insane. 37 and 37 years old, which is absolutely insane. Liz Carmouche has a height advantage, has a reach advantage. She is the favorite in the fight, 14 wins and 7 losses. The 8th best flyweight fighter in the world. Got a 3rd round submission win over Deanna Bennett. Before that, fought for the UFC flyweight belt against Valentina Shevchenko, the best flyweight fighter of all time. Before that, I'll be Lucy Pudilova, Jennifer Maia, Kaylin Chikagian, Lord Murphy, Jessica Andrade. I mean, she was doing really good. Fought Ronda Rousey. I mean, it was absolutely insane. But she has really good wrestling, in my opinion. Has a really good ground and pound. Has really good striking. I mean, the only way I really see Vanessa Pardo winning the fight would be by submission in the 1st or 2nd round. Liz Carmouche has the wrestling, has the striking, has the height, has the reach. Doesn't really have the age advantage because both fighters are 37 years old, but she has a height, she has the reach advantage, she has the striking advantage, she has the wrestling advantage. Every single thing is pointing to Liz Carmouche to win the fight by unanimous decision. But Vanessa Pardo, never count her out, because 22 wins and 8 losses, has really good submission skills on her record. 11 submissions, 4 KO TKO wins, and 7 decision wins. So it's either Vanessa Pardo goes out there and gets the submission in the 1st or 2nd round, or Liz Carmouche goes for takedown after takedown, gets on top of Vanessa Pardo, lands a lot of ground pound, gets a lot of control time, and win the fight by unanimous decision. One of those two things is gonna happen in the fight, but overall, I'm obviously gonna go with Liz Carmouche to win the fight by unanimous decision. Possibly 30-26, but most likely I'm a 30-27 unanimous decision. I mean, her wrestling, her ground pound, her striking, her reach advantage, her height advantage, every single thing is pointing for Liz Carmouche to win the fight by unanimous decision. But we'll see what happens in that fight. It should be a very good co-main event in the women's flyweight division. And guys, we finally made it to the main event of Bellator 256. Y'all already know what fight it is. We have Ryan Bader and Leota Machida 2. This is the rematch. If you guys were wondering when the last time these two guys fought, it was back in 2012, I believe. And Ryan Bader lost the fight by 2nd round knockout. But remember, this was 2012. Ryan Bader at this time was mainly a wrestler, tries to take you down and land a lot of good little tabbity shots on the ground. Try to get the ground and pound TKO win. Try to win the fight by unanimous decision. He's trying to mainly implement that wrestling game plan in his early career inside the UFC back in 2008 to all the way up to, I believe, 2015. All these fights right here were mainly wrestling performances. I mean, decision win over Rashad Evans, decision win over Phil Davis, decision win over OV St. Preux, decision win. All these wins are coming by decision. Not many KO TKO wins from Ryan Bader early in his career, but after that loss to Anthony Johnson back in 2016, my 1st round TKO, he kind of shifted his game plan a little bit to be more of a striker, to try to get more knockouts in his career. And after that loss to Anthony Johnson, he really showed his striking. 2nd round knockout win, 3rd round knockout win, decision win over Phil Davis, 2nd round knockout win, 1st round knockout win, decision win over Matt Mitrione, and a 1st round knockout win. Out of all 7 of these fights right here, 5 of them being KO TKO wins in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round. So after that loss to Anthony Johnson, he really kind of shifted his game plan from more of a wrestling game plan to try to take you down over and over again, get a lot of ground pound, to more of a striking based game plan, to where if he's not doing too good in the striking game, he could go for those takedowns. He does have very good striking, and you've seen those fights against Muhammad Lawal and Fedor Emelianenko, 15 seconds and 35 seconds into the 1st round, literally just doing this and knocking them out in the 1st round. I mean, that has been a main part of his game plan, just using that check left hook in both of those fights against Fedor and Muhammad Lawal. He does have the wrestling to fall back on in the fight. Even in this fight against Leota Machida, even if the striking is not really doing too good for Ryan Bader, which I still think Ryan Bader is going to have the striking advantage in the fight. Even if it is not doing good in the striking game in the fight, he could fall back to the wrestling, take Leota Machida down, go for some ground and pound shots, and win the fight that way. But overall, I think the fight is going to stay on the feet. Every now and then, we will see a couple takedowns from Ryan Bader in the fight. He does have the age advantage. He does have the height advantage. The reach is pretty simple. 74 inches and 73 inches right there. So I think overall, the main way Leota Machida is going to win the fight is to win the fight by KO TKO due to a counter right hook. That is the main way. If Ryan Bader gets a little bit overzealous in the striking game and overcommits with a left hand or overcommits with a right hand, Leota Machida just needs to counter one of those shots with a head kick, with a big right hand of his own, and win the fight that way. But that is the main way I see Leota Machida winning the fight, is by a counter knockout or trying to play the counter puncher role in this fight against Ryan Bader and win the fight by unanimous decision. But overall, I think Ryan Bader is the younger fighter, obviously has a height advantage, has a power advantage, is a very, very good striker. And if you have a guy that is a very, very, very good striker, and if the striking is really, really even, the one thing that can kind of switch the tide into one guy's favor is the wrestling. And if the striking is very, very even, which it probably will be, Ryan Bader will go for that takedown, take Leota Machida down, make it a grinding wrestling performance, get a lot of ground pound, get a lot of control time, and win the fight that way. So I think the striking is going to be very, very even, but the thing that is going to play the biggest factor is Ryan Bader's ground pound, Ryan Bader's wrestling, all that type of thing. So I think Ryan Bader is going to get a takedown in the third round, get on top of Leota Machida, and get a TKO victory in the third round on Leota Machida. Should be a really, really good main event right here in the tournament quarterfinals in the light heavy division. The winner of this fight fights the winner of Corey Anderson, and I'm not really sure how to say that other guy's name. He's like a Russian or so. I don't even know how to say that other guy's name, but the winner of this fight is most likely going to be fighting Corey Anderson in the semifinals of this tournament, and the winner of that most likely will fight Vadim Nemkov. And I think Ryan Bader is going to win this fight against Leota Machida. I think Ryan Bader is also going to win the fight against Corey Anderson, against that Dovletsan Magomedov, however you say that other guy's name. I think Ryan Bader will be in the finals and fight in a rematch against Vadim Nemkov. It's going to be a really, really good fight there. But in this fight, for Bellator 256, I think Ryan Bader is going to go out there, do really, really good in the striking game, make it a really even fight in the striking game, take him down in the third round, and get a TKO victory over Leota Machida in the fight. It should be a really, really good fight right here. But overall, if you guys do not remember my prediction for the whole entire fight card, I have Ryan Bader winning his fight, I have Liz Carmouche winning her fight, I have Jeremy Kennedy winning his fight, I have Kaizengano winning his or her fight, I have Gioti Amauchi winning his fight, I have Dalton Rosa winning his fight, I have Talita Nogueira winning her fight, I have Jornal Lugo winning his fight, I have Cody Law dominating his fight, I have Jalen Bates winning his fight, I have Noah Dunga winning his fight, I have Diana Askarkova dominating her fight, and then I have John Duma winning his fight. A lot of really good fights on Bellator 256, Bader versus Machida 2. But guys, if you guys like the video, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and that is it for the video. I'm out of here. Let's go.